You see him standing where most people would be terrified to be. Nick Olczyk is between the benches, literally inches away from the skates, sticks, and the heat of the game. He's not just an analyst, he's our eyes and ears at ice level. But to understand why Nick is so comfortable in the middle of the chaos, we have to look at a family history defined by high-stakes transitions. I'm Matt Trotter, and today we're finding how Nick Olczyk is hockey-related. Did you know that Nick's career started as a high-stakes save off the ice? In 2022, his father, NHL legend Ed Olczyk, fell ill just minutes before the broadcast. Nick was pulled from the radio booth, sprinted to the TV side, and delivered a performance so seamless the world realized the Olczyk voice wasn't just practiced, it was in their DNA. We're tracing the Olczyk line, we're looking at the Polish roots and the broadcasting bloodline of the man behind the Utah mic. Nick Olczyk was born into a hockey laboratory in Long Grove, Illinois in 1996. He grew up in the shadow of his father's 1984 first-round draft status and a Stanley Cup ring. Nick's path was unique. He didn't want to just play, he wanted to translate. As a kid, while other kids were out playing, 7-year-old Nick was in his basement with the TV on mute, play calling his video games into the early morning hours. He was so loud his brother Tommy used to pelt him with pillows at 2:30 a.m. just to get some sleep. And that obsession paid off. When a high ankle sprain ended his junior hockey season in 2017, Nick didn't go home, he went into the broadcast booth. He realized his true north wasn't on the ice, it was explaining the ice to us. He even left Colorado College because they didn't have a communications program. He was an architect of his own career, proving he was a triple threat, a producer, analyst, and a storyteller that eventually earned him a regional Emmy in Seattle. Nick didn't just get the Utah job because of his last name. He put in the miles. Indy Fuel, the Seattle Kraken, and now in Salt Lake City. He's a new school analyst, bridging the gap for us new fans here in Utah. But check this out. Nick's uncle, Rick Olczyk, is a top NHL executive. In the Olczyk household, they don't just watch hockey, they dissect it. When Nick talks about a line change or defensive gap, he's using a vocabulary that's been at the dinner table for 3 generations. Nick once said that he doesn't think a family dinner has ever gone by without a hockey-related debate. Imagine being the youngest at the table. You either learn to talk fast or you don't eat. To understand the pressure Nick faced, you have to look at his father, Eddie Edzo Olczyk. Eddie wasn't just a player, he was a Chicago folk hero. In 1984, the Blackhawks traded up to number 3 pick just to make sure the hometown kid didn't go anywhere else. He was the first U.S.-born player ever taken by the Hawks in the first round. Eddie's career was a whirlwind of 1,031 games and 794 points. He was part of the infamous Clydesdale line in Chicago and won a Stanley Cup with the Rangers in 1994. But there's a legendary story that defines the Olczyk hustle. In 1990, Eddie's wife Diana was in her 19th hour of labor with Nick's brother Thomas. Eddie gets a phone call in the delivery room. He walks back in and Diana looks at him and says, "Where are we going?" Eddie replies, "Winnipeg." He has been traded mid-labor. 3 hours after Thomas was born, Eddie was on a plane, and that's the reality of the hockey life Nick was born into. Nick Olczyk's ability to adapt to new environments, from Indy through Seattle to Salt Lake, is a family trait. This trait goes back farther than just his father. We have to look at his great-grandfather, Winslow Walter Olczyk. In March of 1943, Winslow was arrested by the military in Poland and sent to an internment camp. He survived along with his wife Anna and ended up at the Bad Reichel displaced persons camp in Germany. This is where Nick's grandfather Walter was born, in that camp, waiting for a country to call home. On November 14, 1951, they boarded the General C.C. Ballou, where they weren't just moving. He had 35 years of life behind him. He was part of what historians call the last million, refugees who refused to go back to a communist-torn homeland. He chose Chicago. They arrived with nothing but a Polish-American dream and the will to survive. When you see Nick standing between the benches, unfazed by a 100-mile-an-hour shot whistling past his head, it's made possible by a man who survived war, a 1943 internment camp, and a 1951 ocean crossing. You're seeing the composure of a family that has survived much worse than a stray puck. The Olczyks became royalty in Polonia, Chicago's massive Polish community. Nick's grandfather Walter was an anchor, ensuring the Polish language and discipline stayed in the DNA and made sure that even in the suburbs of Illinois, the sounds of polka and the smell of Polish sausage were everywhere. That Polish pride is a real thing. It's a culture of storytelling, loud music, and community. In a family of elite hockey athletes and broadcasters, Walter was the emotional center. He supported the hockey dream because, for the Olczyks, hockey was a vehicle that kept the family together in their new American home. That same togetherness is why you see Nick, Eddie, and the whole clan working in every corner of the NHL today. It's a culture of communal storytelling, whether it's Eddie calling the 2026 Olympic gold medal game or Nick giving us the ice level truth in Utah. They're continuing a 75-year tradition of Polish-American communication that started the moment the family stepped off that ship in 1951. I have one more discovery for you. While the Olczyk name is Polish, Nick's mother, Diana Vickers, brings a lineage that goes back even further. I traced her line back to 3 ancestors who arrived in North America on the Mayflower. Think about the contrast. On one side, you have the original English pilgrims of the 1600s, and on the other side, the last million refugees of the 1950s. Nick Olczyk is the literal meeting point of the oldest and the newest chapters of American history. He isn't just a hockey analyst. He's a voice of a family that's been sprinting towards opportunity for 400 years. We've looked at the ice level vantage point, 2:30 a.m. play calling, Eddie's mid-labor trade to Winnipeg, the resettlement from the camps, and the Mayflower connection. That is how Nick Olczyk is hockey related. Drop a comment with your favorite Edzo or Nickism from the broadcast, and I'll see you next time as we discover how we are all hockey related.